me. That's insane thinking. I'm paranoid. I imagined that stuff. That couldn't be the reason for why so-and-so was acting like. Could it? And then you find out later on the track that you are exactly on track with a lot of this.
You believe that children are being abused by pedophiles in Hollywood.
Absolutely.
So why are you sitting down talking to me? Why aren't you sitting down with the police right now?
I've told the police. In fact, if anybody wants to go back to 1993 when I was interviewed by the Santa Barbara Police Department, I sat there and I gave them the names. They're on record. They have all of this in saying that there are people that were the people that did this to both me and Corey that are still working. They're still out there, and they're some of the richest, most powerful people in this business.
And they are.
And they do not want me saying what I'm saying right now.
Are you saying that they're pedophiles?
Yes.
And that they're still in this?
What if everything Hollywood fed you about Mel Gibson was a total setup? What if the man they dragged through the mud wasn't the villain, but the one guy bold enough to speak up? Right now, as Jeffrey Epstein's name is blowing up across every screen in America, there's one name popping up that has people doing a double take: Mel Gibson.
Of human hunting, and when a mind-controlled slave such as myself was stripped of clothes and turned loose in the woods, I was then hunted by George Bush, Dick Cheney, and Bill.
And those wild conspiracy theories he talked about back in the 90s? They're not sounding so wild anymore. For years, Mel Gibson was Hollywood's golden child, cashing checks, winning awards, running the scene. Then out of nowhere, boom, he's blacklisted, canceled before cancel culture was even a phrase. The industry labeled him unstable, controversial, a husband buried in drama. That became the story everyone repeated, but here's the question nobody wanted to touch.
I can say one thing. I showed it in Vegas, and there was 5 screenings, about 1,500 people that saw it. During the 5 screenings, each screening, there was a talking going on. And I was like watching the audience going, what? The second time it happened. Again, third time, talking in this one particular spot. And I'm thinking, what, did we do something wrong or something? But so then one more time it happened. At the end, I was asking about the movie, and I asked him about that one particular part where everybody's talking, and they all cried out Epstein Island. And I went, oh, okay. Now I understand what we're up against.
Wow.
Epstein Island isn't the only sex island out there. And Tim Ballard takes down one of the films.
What if he wasn't taken down because of scandals, but because he saw something he wasn't supposed to see? What if Mel Gibson caught a glimpse behind Hollywood's polished curtain and it shook him enough that he couldn't keep quiet? And what if that same darkness is what's now spilling out in the Epstein files for the whole world to see? Let's rewind this back to 1998. Mel Gibson is just 25 years old, sitting in an interview, and he starts talking about Hollywood in a way that makes the room tense. He hints at dark behavior behind closed doors. He says he felt disturbed by things he claims to have seen inside the industry. Almost instantly, the media flips the script. They brand him paranoid, unstable, a guy who can't handle fame. That label sticks fast. Fast forward to 2004. Mel decides to self-fund The Passion of the Christ because not one major studio wants to back it. The excuse? Too controversial, too religious. But some people started asking, was it really about religion or was it about control? The second he stepped outside the system and financed his own vision, the backlash turned up. Allegations hit the headlines. His reputation took heavy blows. Suddenly, he's pushed to the edge of the industry. Then the whispers start online. Rumors spread claiming Mel had refused to participate in certain elite circles, that he walked away from gatherings that didn't sit right with him. No proof ever backed those stories, but they moved fast. Supporters said his refusal to play along cost him everything. Hollywood dismissed it all as nonsense and painted him as another fallen star battling personal struggles. Studios shifted to safer faces, more predictable names, actors who would follow the script without stepping out of line. But here's where it gets wild. While Hollywood was slowly pushing Mel out of the spotlight, he wasn't just sitting around feeling sorry for himself. He was moving low-key, working behind the scenes, away from the same industry that had slammed the door on him. He later helped promote and support Sound of Freedom, a film centered on child trafficking and the dark reality of criminal networks targeting vulnerable families. This wasn't some flashy blockbuster built on superheroes. It focused on a serious issue: predators posing as talent scouts, fake opportunities, traps set for desperate parents and their kids. The movie starred Jim Caviezel, the same actor who played Jesus in The Passion of the Christ, and he publicly spoke about how working on projects like these changed how he saw the industry. The budget? Around $14.5 million. The box office? Over $250 million. That shocked Hollywood. Audiences showed up in huge numbers because the topic hit hard. The story follows a father whose children are taken by a woman pretending to offer modeling opportunities. It dives into complex trafficking operations and rescue missions in powerful circles. Whether people agreed with the hype or not, one thing was clear: the film sparked major conversation, and it refused to be ignored. Children moved through hidden channels, secret routes most people don't even want to imagine. When the film first dropped, critics waved it off fast. They called it conspiracy bait. They said it was paranoid propaganda. They claimed it was just Mel Gibson pushing wild ideas again. That became the headline everywhere. But now people are looking at it differently. In recent weeks, reports claim that millions of Department of Justice files connected to Jeffrey Epstein have surfaced. Overnight, his name shot to the top of trending topics online. News outlets started talking about thousands of alleged videos and images tied to powerful figures. Descriptions coming out were so disturbing that many platforms refused to even detail them. One email reportedly linked to Epstein included the line, "They are like shrimp. You throw away the top, keep the body." That quote alone shook people to the core. If authentic, it reflects language that is deeply disturbing and dehumanizing. Supporters argue this isn't just rumor anymore. They claim evidence is sitting inside official databases right now. Authorities, however, continue to investigate and sort verified facts from online speculation. And here's the part that keeps fueling debate. So far, Epstein remains the central figure charged in the case. His 2019 death was officially ruled a suicide, but online speculation continues to swirl despite investigations stating otherwise. The questions haven't stopped, and neither has the noise. Meanwhile, Ghislaine Maxwell is serving a 20-year sentence in federal prison, but online chatter keeps claiming she's living in luxury conditions with perks regular inmates would never see. Official reports describe her facility as low security, not some five-star resort, but that hasn't stopped the rumors from spreading fast. Then another claim hit social media hard. Documents circulating online allege that in 2018, the same day federal authorities reopened serious investigations tied to Jeffrey Epstein, he purchased 330 gallons of sulfuric acid. 330 gallons. People immediately jumped to conclusions because sulfuric acid is a highly corrosive chemical used in industrial cleaning and manufacturing. The timing raised eyebrows online, but investigators have never publicly confirmed any criminal link to that purchase. Still, the question keeps echoing. Why that amount, and why that day? Now, Mel Gibson's name is trending again. Not because he dropped a new movie, not because of a red carpet scandal. but because old clips from 1998, where he talked about darkness inside Hollywood, are going viral all over again. His supporters are sharing those interviews like proof of something bigger. And Sound of Freedom, once dismissed by critics as exaggerated, is now being rewatched by audiences who say they're seeing it through a totally different lens. Especially with that storyline about fake modeling scouts pulling families into danger. The elite parties, the secret networks, the abuse tied to powerful names. Supporters claim it's all laid out inside the Epstein files. They're saying Mel wasn't crazy. He was just early. That idea alone has people rethinking everything. For years, Hollywood painted him as the villain. Headlines focused on his scandals, his personal struggles, his lowest moments. Meanwhile, online voices now argue that bigger players were being shielded from scrutiny. That's the angle spreading fast. Mel once compared parts of Hollywood to a modern-day Sodom and Gomorrah, and the backlash hit him hard. His reputation took a massive blow. Studios distanced themselves. Projects disappeared overnight. Now, social media is flooded with comments. Some users are claiming wealthy elites protected each other. Others are reposting old interviews where Mel spoke about corruption and calling him ahead of his time. They say the theories once mocked are lining up with current investigations. Critics push back, saying speculation is racing ahead of verified facts. But one thing is clear. The narrative people believed for decades is being questioned like never before, and here's where the tension rises again. Online sources claim the Epstein documents released so far are only part of a much bigger archive. They hint at unreleased material, more names, more evidence. Authorities continue reviewing files, but the internet is already running wild, and right in the center of this storm, Mel Gibson. The man many say Hollywood tried to erase. If you want the full breakdown and the next twist in this story, tap subscribe to Juicy Reel and stay locked in, because this saga is far from over. The man some supporters say spent decades trying to warn people. He pushed forward with the passion of the Christ when studios told him it was a bad move. He later supported Sound of Freedom to spotlight the harsh reality of trafficking crimes. In interviews, he even said real life is darker than what any movie can show. That statement alone has people looking back at everything he said with fresh eyes. So now, the big question hits hard. What happens next? If investigations continue uncovering more facts, does Mel's career get a second life after years of backlash? Does Hollywood ever answer for how it handled him? Or does the spotlight slowly fade again and the whole situation gets pushed aside like nothing ever happened? People are split down the middle. Some believe Mel was trying to expose corruption from the start. Others say the story is more complicated and still unfolding. There are also claims online about unreleased evidence, but authorities continue sorting verified facts from speculation. Now it's your turn. Do you think Mel saw something bigger years ago? Or is the internet connecting dots too fast? Drop your thoughts below and speak up. And if this made you question the narrative, hit subscribe to Juicy Reel and catch the next deep dive, because this story isn't cooling off anytime soon. A man some believe spent decades trying to sound the alarm. He made the passion of the Christ when studios warned him not to move forward. He later backed Sound of Freedom to shine light on the brutal reality of trafficking crimes. In interviews, he even said real life is darker than what any film can capture. That line stuck with people. Supporters now replay those clips and say he wasn't reaching, he was warning. So, what happens now? If more verified evidence continues to surface in ongoing investigations, does Mel's career get a serious comeback after years of backlash? Does Hollywood reflect on how it handled him? Or does the attention slowly fade and the conversation gets pushed aside like it never mattered? Online debates are heating up. Some argue Mel tried to call out corruption from the start. Others say people are connecting dots too fast without all the facts. There are claims floating around about unreleased material, but officials are still reviewing what's confirmed versus what's speculation. The truth is still unfolding. Now it's on you. Was Mel ahead of the curve, or is the internet rewriting history in real time? Drop your take in the comments and speak loud. And if this cracked open a new perspective for you, subscribe to Juicy Reel and tap into the next deep dive, because this story is far from finished.